the interesting things for me anyway, and I find odd things interesting. So forgive me if it's not.
The odder the better.
Usually, right? Customers who have ASRS systems will have some kind of ABC categorization.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, and so and one of the things that High does really well is ABC categorization, where you will automatically have an assignment in the master data from the client WMS, and you will say, okay, this is an A mover, this is a B mover, C mover, whatever.
Yeah,
and then you will have storage, put away logic, that kind of stuff. CDW, although has all of the seasonal peaks and stock holding and everything that you would expect in a traditional customer, they have no ABC categorization at all. Because of the nature of the business, they are not holding stock to be called off on a sale. They are holding stock specifically for a customer. We already discussed is that everything is bespoke, right? So you have to send that item to that particular customer because it is absolutely bespoke for that, almost to the individual level.
Yeah.
So what you're going to get called off, although you can kind of look at a global trend and say, right, I'm going to go up 30% in this period, you're not going to know what that is.
Yeah.
You're just you could get a call and say, right, okay, those 100 laptops you've not moved for 6 months, right? They're all coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, so and that's one of the challenges from a throughput perspective, from a simulation perspective, from a modeling perspective.
Yeah.
We can't rely on ABC movers, so we have to use a chaotic picking put away model for our simulations. Now, from an operational point of view, there may be kind of little things you can do and what and little
individual projects, but
on the whole, you can't rely.
There's not a trend. There's not a fixed trend. So and what we worked on together as well is this random and chaotic storage element, which really is one of the strength points of a high robotic solution. Some of the other products on the market really do rely on a heavy sort of Pareto, or let's say an 80-20 sort of
anything that requires digging.
Yes, correct.
Not naming anything, but I mean, if anything that requires digging, so whether it's more than double deep, or whether it's digging from your storage cube, unless you have really strong ABC categorization, really strong data, then it becomes more and more challenging. The high system in that regard does lend itself well to that particular type of custom. More so than others on the market. And going back to one of your previous questions, I didn't mention it, but it is true. That was one of the biggest attractions for us anyway, speaking with yourself and seeing the systems and understanding that from a flow and from a simulation perspective. It's like, okay, I'm never going to have to dig more than a bin out. And most of the time, we can probably pair SKUs.
And the strength of this solution as well is in... Yes, we are double deep behind the scenes, which is what you can see. But the beauty of the ACR and the Hypic System 1 is that if we were to do any digging, there is not necessarily a huge amount of relocation because we have the back trays on the back of the robot, so we can extract from the front of the shallow pig face, store it locally on the robot, and then extract the deep tote basically.
It's seconds to dig.
Yeah.
Any tote from any location, even if everything in the system was unpaired SKUs. So by that I mean one SKU behind is different, so there's SKU in front, so you're trying to get the one at the back.
Yeah.
You can do that in place, and it's this one single cycle for a robot rather than multiple cycles, and it can get very intensive for the fleet.
Yes.
To manage that, because everything you dig out, you then have to move out of the way, whereas you can manage that with one cycle on a robot, which is quite helpful.
So that's a really good example of the flexibility of the system as well. And when we started the project, like I mentioned as well, about 300 totes an hour in operation. And I know you guys have been working in the background to kind of improve and really sweat the asset. What type of rates are you achieving at the moment?
Well, we tend to achieve around the 300 hour mark, but during our busiest periods when we've had to call a lot of totes out and put them away quickly, we've reached 380, 390. So we've exceeded where we have been to, where we've been guaranteed, but we need to continue pushing that and trying to get more and more.
Fantastic.